Hey everybody. So a subscriber sent me a video and requested my input. After looking into the issue, here is my feedback and concerns. Let's get started. Meet Jesus. Jesus needs your help because Jesus apparently got divorced and is having his parental rights terminated. And he made this video on January 6th, 2019. And so far it's gotten over 450,000 views. And basically, he's requesting financial help because he's in the middle of a custody battle and he needs to pay for what's called a 730 custody evaluation. And he's at risk of having his parental rights terminated. So I looked into this a little bit, and obviously, I don't know who this person is. When I first looked at the video, I didn't know what a 730 evaluation was. So I just kind of did some research based on what I found, and these are my findings. Now, the termination process and the 730 evaluation process, that's actually under California law. It's Evidence Rule 730, and he's actually located in Southern California. He actually has like a Dropbox address associated with his YouTube channel and a lot of his branding that he does. And he has a variety of branding. We'll go into that in a minute. But as far as is the termination proceeding in the state of California, there are a few reasons why a person can get their rights terminated. Now, this is the law office of Clary and Hammond LLP. And according to them, you can have your rights terminated as a parent for any of the following reasons: abandonment, cruelty, or neglect. The parent is disabled due to moral depravity or substance abuse. The parent was convicted of a felony. The parent is mentally ill or developmentally disabled, or the parent is mentally disabled. And typically, in addition to that, the reason that a parent would have their rights terminated, now this is not a CPS parental rights termination. Like your ex-wife in the state of California can file parental rights termination according to Clary and Hammond. And part of the reason they can do that, according to the Clary and Hammond law firm, is parental rights can be terminated voluntarily by a parent, or they can be terminated involuntarily and enforced by a family court. Usually parental rights are involuntarily terminated to allow for a step-parent, agency, or independent adoption. So usually when it comes to agency or independent adoption, that's like Child Protective Services. But step-parent means they can terminate your rights in the context of divorce. And when I say terminate your rights, I don't mean take custody away. I want to make sure that's abundantly clear. What I mean by that is that you are no longer considered the legal father. You have no visitation rights. You have no decision-making authority. You have nothing. Okay? Now, in addition to that, now this is just the law firm, but the actual law, according to the California court site that I found, these things dovetail the actual laws, and these are the codes as well. So I've highlighted those things. So they dovetail what this law firm says down here. Now, with that in mind, according to Title V of the California Rules of Court, that Evidence Code 730 report, they talk about court-ordered child custody evaluations. So this is kind of the statute there. I'll be putting these links in the description so people can look them up. As far as what is a 730 evaluation, this is from Bohm, Wildish, and Matson. Oftentimes, California family court judges order a child custody evaluation, also called a 730 evaluation, to look into the mental health and parenting practices of one or both parents. Now, that's important because basically what they're saying is, and I'm just assuming here, I'm just going to spitball and go out on a limb here. I think what's probably happening is that his ex has found a new man, and she wants the new man to adopt the child because the new man probably either earns more money, has a more stable job, or something else. This guy's an entrepreneur. He's in business for himself. He's doing a lot of work for himself. He doesn't have custody of his kids. It's very clear he's either part of a paternity action where, in other words, he did not get married, he had children with a woman, and they separated, or he is divorced and he lost custody of his children through the divorce court, through the California family courts. Now, with that in mind, he's up for child parental rights termination, and he's upset because his ex-wife is part of a religious organization that he believes is a cult. Now, he doesn't go into detail on any of this stuff, and at this point, I have no way of judging his credibility. I mean, I've seen people kick out fake tears like it's no tomorrow before. So, and he does cry in this video. But on the same token, I'm not going to say that's not sincere because I don't know enough information, and that would be unfair to assume one direction or another. But I will say this: for whatever reason, they have accused him of either abandonment, neglect, or cruelty, or suffering from a disability due to alcohol or controlled substances or moral depravity, or he's been convicted of a felony or has some kind of like criminal record. In addition to that, he might have been considered either developmentally disabled or mentally ill. And again, of course, the last part is kind of a redundant sort of thing. He's a mentally disabled parent. So if he's got any kind of mental health history, if he's got a history of any of these things, this is part of the justification they need in order to terminate his rights. Now, with that said, he's asking for money. That's what this I need help is. Basically, his attorney retainer is run out and he has to pay for a 730 evaluation, which is a parenting evaluation. So for those people in other states, this is like a guardian ad litem investigation, a parenting investigation, that sort of thing. But in California, because they're more socialist, it also is kind of like a mental health evaluation as well. So it's kind of a combination of both of those things together. And in other states, they kind of separate these things for those people who don't know. Like in Washington State, they have what's called a CR35 mental health evaluation, and then they have your standard child custody parental investigation. And they're two very separate things. But in some states, they combine them. California apparently is one of them. I didn't know that until I looked this up. Now, one of the things that's interesting about this is that he doesn't create a GoFundMe account. He just asks you to join his Patreon. Now, the other piece is that he has a Fiverr account. So if you want to have Jesus say anything, Jesus has a bunch of gigs on Fiverr for $10. You can support him that way. He's been doing this since May 2015, and he responds apparently very quickly in 6 hours. So this is one way, if you want to support him in this is one way you can do that. Now, in addition to this, like I said, he's an entrepreneur. He has a merch store on his website. You can rep Jesus on the website by purchasing any of this stuff that's there. And then finally, and this is the thing that kind of surprises me the most a little bit, but not really, Jesus makes $4,600 per video. So every time he puts out a video with his 763 patrons, he gets $4,600. Okay. So when I first looked at this morning, he had 760 patrons. He's gotten 3 new patrons since then. Okay. That's great. And then in addition to that, it looks like most of his videos are monetized. So according to Social Blade, he's getting somewhere between $300 and $4,500 a month just in Google AdSense. Now, again, if you look at this video here, this is his most recent one. This video has only been up for a short period of time, and it has almost 500,000 views. Okay, those are going to translate into ad revenue, assuming that video is monetized. Now, the only concern that I have is this. There's not enough information to make a determination of whether or not his situation is one of a father being unjustly targeted and having his rights terminated because his ex has a new man and she wants the new man to adopt her children. Or if there's really some sort of parental deficiency with Jesus, though it kind of sounds kind of funny saying that. And these things are justified. And the reason I say that is because family court is packed with feminists and they witch hunt men all the time. And I know this because I've been a family court professional, specifically a litigation paralegal in the family courts for over 10 years. I was a men's rights activist. I've spoken with family court professionals all over the country while I was a men's rights activist and while I was working in family court. I still consult on some cases through attorneys. So these things happen where a man will walk into court and he will just be absolutely discriminated against. And this might actually be one of those cases. We really don't know. We don't have enough information here. But again, this is California. This is dog shitistan. So even though he's a cuck for Elon Musk because he's got his little SpaceX thing going on, there could be some concerns here. And again, this guy might work in the tech industry. Who knows? Maybe this is like a side gig for him and all this other stuff he's doing on the side is just a side gig. I don't know. We don't really know a lot about this guy, but I will say this. If he's being unjustly targeted, my suggestion is this. Jesus, you're getting $4,600 per video. Now, according to Social Blade, you've only uploaded 55 videos since 2015. Dude, you make 2 videos a week. Okay? That's $9,000 a week. That's $1,000 a month. Your financial problems are solved. 2 videos a week. Okay? That's going to be more than you're going to make on Fiverr. It's going to be more than selling your little merchandise here. It's going to be more than anything else you're doing, because on Patreon, you're making $4,600 per video. So again, increase your video count and you're going to find your financial problems are going to solve themselves. The other thing that I would say is this: Jesus, if you're watching, I did a 3-video series. It's on a playlist. It's called The Layman's Legal Clinic. It talks about how to handle your attorney, how to deal with the legal issues that are there. You're in Southern California, I believe, based on everything I've seen so far. If that's the case, that means you're paying top dollar for an attorney, and that attorney is probably blowing shit up your ass. The majority of the legal field are cucked. If you don't believe me, look at the American Bar Association, okay? When Kavanaugh was falsely accused of sexual assault when he was trying to get on the Supreme Court, the American Bar Association actually put out an official statement in opposition to due process rights for the accused. That should tell you everything you need to know about the legal profession. Now, there are a lot of good attorneys out there. However, in this set of circumstances, the majority of family law attorneys out there, even the ones who say that they support men's rights or they defend men, the majority of them don't. I believe her name is Melissa Isaac. She's a very strong father's rights attorney, and she actually walks the walk. So she's the type of attorney you need. Now, she doesn't practice in California. I believe she's in the South. But the important takeaway here is that most attorneys don't represent the interests of fathers. They don't represent the interests of men. And I'll leave you guys with this. When the Son of God, Jesus Christ, is getting divorced and he's having his parental rights terminated, you know it's time to go MGTOW. I'm DDJ, and this has been your dose of misandry today.